Needs to be muted. I'll do it. Okay.
Call the City of North Ridgeville Planning Commission meeting to order for September 14th, 2021. Everyone please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance with the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, please call roll. We do have an absentee today. I believe Mr. Ali did call in. Present.
Swallow. Present. Havens.
Here.
Smollet.
Here.
Members of the administration. Mitchell Thurston.
Here.
Prosecutor Calver. Here. City Engineer Rodriguez.
Here. Okay. Next on the agenda is election of an officer. I would like to nominate Tina Weaver as secretary.
I'll second.
Okay. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Brotman.
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Havens.
Yes.
Smollet.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Tina. You're our new secretary. Has everyone had a chance to review the Planning Commission meeting minutes from July 13th, 2021? Is there any corrections at this time? Hearing no corrections, those minutes will be filed and stamped. Madam Secretary, is there any correspondence at this time?
No, there's
Okay. Madam Secretary, please call the first applicant.
First applicant is Stacy Dasher, Everstream Solutions LLC, 1228 Euclid Avenue, number 250, Cleveland, Ohio 44115. Owner, City of North Ridgeville, 7307 Avon Bellevue Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio 44039. Request to install and maintain a 2-inch fiber conduit in the right of way between 32991 and 33395 Lorraine Road. Location. Between 32991 and 33395 Lorraine Road in the right of way. Permanent parcel number 07003003102050. Building officials' comments. Recommendations 1240.08. Essential services exempt under zoning code, however, approval from planning commission, the city engineer, or other municipal authority is required. Recommend indemnification for the city of North Ridgeville in case city accidentally damages fiber optic cable. Also recommendations from the city engineer Rodriguez. Number one, fiber optic conduit placement within the right of way of the city of North Ridgeville shall not interfere or conflict with existing utilities or any planned future utility expansions. Number two, conduit owner must move or remove conduit if deemed to interfere or conflict with future utility projects at no charge to the city of North Ridgeville.
Okay, I see we have someone representing the applicant. Please state your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about your project.
Sure. My name is Christopher Hunke with Ironclad Engineering, professional engineer, representing Everstream, address 979 East 179th Street, 8.44119.
And you want to tell us a little bit about your project?
Sure.
As soon as we get the microphone fixed there.
Okay. The project itself is to install a 2-inch fiber conduit in the right of way to service a cell tower on the south side of Interstate 80, the turnpike. And it's underground and then aerial to the other site.
Okay. I guess my first question for you is, did the Ohio Turnpike Commission review the plans?
Yes,
Did they give a written approval?
they've given a written approval as far as I know.
And okay, and that written approval will be submitted to the city?
We can make that happen. They've submitted that to Everstream as far as I know.
All right, does any of the other commission members have any questions or comments? I guess I have one further question. I know that your conduit is being placed within 12 inches of one of their piers that carries their superstructure. And ODOT saw that drawing, and I mean, not ODOT, Ohio Turnpike Commission, and they were comfortable with that?
They'll probably, most likely they'll make comments on shifting it.
So they have not seen that?
They've seen the drawings, yes.
Because I'm a little shocked they're allowing it that close to their structure myself.
Yeah, I have to. They've submitted that back to Everstream, but I personally have not seen the return comments back.
Okay, and I'm assuming, Mr. Rodriguez, that's something the administration could track to make sure Ohio Turnpike Commission is satisfied? Yes. All right, is there any further questions or comments from the administration? Do I have any questions or comments from the general public? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close the public comments section. Is there any other further questions or comments from the commission? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve as submitted.
Discussion?
Yes, do we need to add the identification?
I would second that.
Since that other identification, whatever state, I don't know the process.
Okay, so that's handled administratively. Okay. I could strike that modification.
And add it to one. Everyone's aware.
How about I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay,
I'll move to approve with the condition that they enter the identification agreement with the city.
do I have a second? Okay. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Brotman,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Smollett.
Yes.
Motion carries. Vote 4-0.
Okay, I'll give you your signed packet here. You all just come on up. And then, like I said, just make sure the city engineer gets that information from the Turnpike Commission. Okay, all right, thank you. Have a nice evening. Thank you. Okay, Madam Secretary, please read the second application.
Applicant Gary Smithick, North Ridge Point LLC, 36715 Avalon Court, Avon, Ohio, 44011. Owner same. Request approval of 39 standard lots and 41 cluster lots. Phase 6 of North Ridge Point subdivision. Location, North Ridge Point subdivision, West Shore Parkway, Amalfi Road in an R1 district. Permanent parcel numbers 07000290000 442. Also 0700032000720. Also 0700031000288 and 07003000303. Chief Building Official. Number 1, North Ridge Point subdivision number 6 has a density of 2.57. 80 sublots divided by 31.1275 total acres equals 2.57. Number 2, North Ridge Point subdivision number 6 has 80 total sublots, 39 single-family sublots, and 41 cluster family sublots. Number 3, North Ridge Point subdivision number 6 has 16.6% open space, 5.1757 open space acres divided by 31.1275 total acres equals 0.116. City Engineer Rodriguez. Comments are number 1, the plans and stormwater management calculations for the subdivision have been approved by the engineering department. Number 2, subdivision is currently under construction.
Okay, thank you. Obviously, we have someone representing the application. Please state your name and address for the record.
Gary Smithick, 36715 Avalon Court, Illinois.
Okay, please tell us a little bit about your project.
So this is phase 6 of the North Ridge Point development. With the 80 lots that put us at 275. I believe the total was 379 or 377. It'll be less than that just because we added 5 feet to all cluster lots since phase 1. So there's 60 instead of 55. But other than that, it's following the plan. Restoration approved, just a little bit bigger lots.
Okay. Thank you for providing your calculations for the development statistics for density and cluster area and open area. Makes our job a little bit easier. So according to that, your cumulative total, even though this phase is a little light, your cumulative total is still meets the code. Maximum density by code is 2.3 lots per acre. You're under that at 2.14. Maximum cluster is 35%, you're at 33%. And then your open area at 22% is more than the 20% required. So thank you for that. Is there any other questions or comments from the commission?
Just one more question. How many phases are yet to be?
Depends on the size of the phase. So I know we have one more phase, 31 lots, large lots. If you've looked at it, it'd be it's around the big lake. That would be 31 lots large. And then we have a cluster area coming off of 83, sort of take a right. I don't know how many it is anymore, to tell you the truth. The total was 370 some. And like I said, we went from 55 to 60 foot lots, the cluster after phase 1. So probably be about 365 to 370. So we're at 275 after this.
We're curious.
Okay, I do have a question in regards, I guess it would be the far south street that's being developed, Avion Way. It appears that along that property line is an existing drainage ditch that's sort of stagnant. Are you planning on improving that so it's not stagnant anymore, or Because there's also a weird detail, with some mounding so that the surface runoff for the development doesn't go into that. I assume that's their stormwater retention calculations went that route. But could you give a little bit more about that, I guess, the drainage feature out there?
Yes, sir, I'd like to answer that. I'm Dale Haywood, the site engineer with Atwell
Okay,
Engineering.
please state your name. and
Dale
address for the
Haywood.
record. Thank you.
Yes,
What
with
address, please?
Independence, East Pleasant Valley Road, Independence, Ohio.
Thank you.
And to address your question about the drainage along the south line, there is a somewhat non-functioning ditch there. The plan is to grade that off so water can move through it. That's coming off the adjacent property towards the development. And as you notice, that mound along the rear property line is meant to capture runoff from the development lots and contain that within the development, pass it through the storm sewer system and then onto the retention pond.
Okay, perfect. So you answered my question that it will be somewhat handled and will sort of de-water that stagnant water right now.
That's the plan, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there any questions or comments from the administration? Hearing none, I am going to open up for questions and comments from the general public. If you want, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. Hearing none, I'm going to close. Oh, go ahead. Beat the buzzer.
Dave Minnick. I live at 5827 Stony Ridge Road. I got that housing development going up next to me. And he's draining probably 3/4 his water over on me. He's got swamps in there and everything, and he's trying to drain them off on me. I caught him and plugged them up. Plus I got water all over my place. And there's a 12-inch tile that goes down through his property. And it's broke and he plugged them all up and all that water is blowing off on me.
So
I
that
had
way, we understand, where exactly are you located for this? Are you north or
Right
south?
next to it. Just about right across from I'm gonna say Burns or Barrett.
Oh, so you're south. Okay, so you're south, so you're at the parcel we were talking about, the drainage ditch that's not functioning.
I didn't really hear you.
From my understanding, you're south of the proposed subdivision.
Right,
Okay. So
no,
you're-
I'm north. I'm north.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any further questions or comments?
No, I got pictures and everything if you want to see it.
Okay, I'm gonna at this time let the developer, if he has some questions or comments in regards to that issue.
South of the property. So the water flows north, north and east. So I guess we did some pipes, tiles that must have been there from, who knows how long ago. The city asked us to break them up. The city engineering department, if we run across them, so to stop the water. So that's what we're thinking. But the water's not coming from ours or his, it's coming from his ours. It goes north and east. Water doesn't flow south.
And like we had the previous conversation with that stagnant ditch, by opening that up, it's actually gonna help him.
Right, that's the goal. We have not developed the area, we developed in the back. So I think we might have hit some tile there too. But we were asked to, by Mike in the engineering department, to chop them up, break them, whatever. We're doing across them.
Because-
So we should hit them as we put storms, sanitary, and all that.
Because right now, the land he's referring to has just been cleared, there's no utilities been put in or anything like that.
But there might have been some tile to the east. But we're not dumping, it's running across this whole time. Water comes on your property and, you pass, that's not our water, it's their water. So,
Does the city engineer wanna chime in on that?
The conversation that's been had is correct. We've asked Mr. Smitic to destroy that tile as he comes along it. I would assume that it will continue to get crushed as the development continues and the storm sewers go in along that rear property line. And again, that ditch will help, reshaping that ditch will help this issue.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, and we always try to work with people. If something comes up that's like crazy and we see, we will do our best. What's underground, we don't know until we have it.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any other further questions or comments from the general public? Okay, at this time, I'm going to close comments from the general public. Do I have any further closing comments from the commission? Hearing none, at this time, I will entertain a motion.
I would move to approve the final subdivision.
Do I have a second? Second. Okay. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Brotman,
Yes.
Hollow,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Smoller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, no problem, we have your paperwork, I'll just sign it, and have your packet. Okay, Madam Secretary, please call the third item on the agenda.
Applicant Joe Moore, Bob Schmidt Homes Incorporated, 9095 Gatestone Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Saying, request final approval of Ridgefield subdivision number 17, location 9112 Gatestone Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039, in an R1 district. Permanent parcel number 0700001000441. Chief Building Officials recommendations. Number 1, Ridgefield subdivision number 17 has a density of 1.61, 29 dwellings divided by 17.9633 total acres equals 1.61. Number 2, Ridgefield subdivision number 17 has 29 single-family dwellings. Number 3, Ridgefield subdivision has number 17 has 24% open space, 4.3176 open space acres divided by 17.9633 total acres equals 0.24. Number 4, all else appears code compliant. City engineers comments. Number 1, detailed improvement plans and stormwater management calculations for the subdivision are currently under review in the engineering department. Plan approval has not been granted at this time. Number 2, no other comments.
Okay, thank you. We have someone in the audience that will discuss this application. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Joe Molnar, Schmidt Homes, 9095 Gatestone Road, North Ridgeville.
Can you please tell us a little bit about your project?
Well, we're up to subdivision number 17. This is the extension of Riverwood Drive. Consists of 29 single-family acres, or 29 single-family units. And as you read, the acreage is about 4 acres of open space. It's just an extension of the existing street.
How many more phases are there going to be? Do you have an
If
idea?
I knew that, we could play the lottery.
Okay, I mean,
Let's put it this way. Right now, we're at this last subdivision, will take us up to 750 lots. We still have another 145 acres that are undeveloped. So we're guessing another 250 probably units cluster in single family. Hope that we're looking at probably 8 to 10 additional phases. It's going to depend on sales like everything.
Right.
In the building business. We can't project far enough because we don't know what sales are going to be like, what's going to happen to the industry.
good, I appreciate you gave us an itemized list as well of where the subdivision sits. Currently density is way under, you got like 2 units per acre and code is 2.3. However, the open space or park area, you're at 18.5%, needs to be 20.
Correct.
So I guess, is there future planning to try and bring,
Well, there will be, in the future areas, there's more open space than there was in the first 17 units, 17 phases. So we will exceed that 20% without any question.
so you sort of have a master plan, like sort of thought up of?
Yes, yes. It's actually on.
Yeah, I did see that, so, okay.
That gives you a good idea of what is proposed in the future.
I just want to make sure you guys were aware you're a little light
Yeah.
when you're planning out.
I have that, keep that track of that myself every time.
Okay, because yeah, the intent is obviously to keep that park space going, not to get it done the last phase.
Well, it depends on what you have to work with the subdivision, as far as the acreage and what is usable, and what is not.
Does any of the other members of the commission have any questions or comments?
Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'm a ward councilman for that particular area, and I have to admit, I'm getting more and more calls pertaining to flooding. Fortunately, it looks like your plan is working, because everything you use the streets as your right for detention basis.
Correct.
And your residents aren't aware of this, so I get these angry calls
Yes, I know.
about their streets.
I know.
And the first question I ask is, any water in the just answer no.
Correct. Fortunately, 99% of them are slab on grade. There are no basements in the areas that are potential.
My concern is, I'm not a fan of using the streets as your.
Well, that is, you have to realize that that's a system, not just the streets. We've got the retention areas. We do all of our storm sewers are in the backyards between units. So that acts as a retention area in itself too. Because all of our park areas between the units, we always put the storm sewer drain that area into those. And that goes into another either retention basin or whatever. But generally speaking, the streets for the short period of time that they do flood, it's a minor inconvenience, but it does help as far as retention.
I guess, again, I understand your situation. Do you make your home buyers aware that the streets are being used in that fashion?
Unless they specifically ask for it.
Okay. And there's nowhere in their contracts, in their plans or anything.
And I'm sure there's no other builder that would do the same thing.
I understand. I just.
Yeah.
These are the issues that it's being raised for me. And of course, I tell them what the facts are, and I also point
And it's
out.
really 1 or 2 locations within the development, correct? that I'm aware of.
It's the one that happened just recently would be
Long Brook.
Escape. I don't think that's supposed to be a detention, our detention. Nest Haven is the first one off of Meadow as you're coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the last rain was
Right.
explained, which was 5 inches and 90 mils.
Short period of time.
And the other thing that expressed from, they're part of ditches surrounding Ridgeville. They were recently cleared, so I'm assuming some of that contributed.
It's likely.
But I would really appreciate it if somewhere along that plan, you indicate something of that nature, so it's no longer a buyer beware, but buyer knows.
That will really show up on anything that we design, because it's designed as a package. The whole subdivision, and, each phase has retention that retains that area, and then the next one down the line retains, and it gets into the large retention basin that.
According to the recent newsletter, I guess Schmidt has donated some land for retention basins. It's according to the newsletter. Possibly that's they addressed that.
That's news related.
Okay. It was in the newsletter. How
Okay.
accurate it is,
I'm sure it's gotta be true.
Have any other questions or comments from the commission? Okay, is there any questions or comments from the administration? Hearing none, I'll open up the questions and comments to the general public. Okay, at this time, I'm going to close the comments from the general public. Is there any closing statements from the commission members? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion. Make a motion to accept the application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Troutman,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Stevens,
yes.
Smollett.
Yes. Okay, we got your paperwork up here, so you get your signature. This is yeah.
You know
So I
what,
didn't say
that's
something
fine.
else. Still get the bags and all. I mean, we did Zoom meetings for so long. Madam Secretary, please read the next application.
Applicant Rich Frederickson, Raptor A Ltd, 42653, Overland Elyria Road, Overland, Ohio, 44074. Owner Ohio Mill Storage, LLC, 75 North Haddonfield, New Jersey, 08033. Request site plan approval for self-storage. Location 34515 Mills Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Permanent parcel number 0700001011329. Recommendations. Chief Building Official, Ohio Mill Storage units are not occupied units, all appears to be code compliant. Assistant Fire Chief. All portions of commercial and industrial structures shall be within 300 feet from at least one readily accessible public or private fire hydrant, Such distances shall be actual travel distances along streets, roadways, or driveways in compliance with this section. Ohio Fire Code, Section 503, fire apparatus roads. Fire apparatus access roads shall comply with the requirements of this paragraph and shall extend to within 150 feet of all portions of the facility and all portions of the exterior walls of the first story of the building. It's measured by an approved route around the exterior of the building or facility. Section 503.2.1 dimensions. Fire department access roads shall have an unobstructed width of not less than 20 feet, unobstructed vertical clearance of not less than 13 feet 6 inches. Section 503.2.5 dead ends. Dead end fire apparatus access roads and access in excess of 150 feet in length shall be provided with an approved area for turning around. Section 503.6 security gates. Installation of security gates across the fire apparatus access road shall be approved by the fire chief. Please contact if you're willing to install security gate so we can review code requirements. City engineer, recommendation number 1. Plans and stormwater calculations for the site were previously approved under former ownership. Engineering will review current plan sets for the conformity to previously approved plans and stormwater calcs before granted final approval.
Okay, thank you. Is there someone in the audience who represents this application? Please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Richard Frederickson. Our company address, I'm with Raptor Ltd, company address 42653 Oberlin Elyria Road, Oberlin, Ohio 44074.
Thank you. You want to tell us a little bit about your project?
Yeah, this project previously had gone through a planning commission, I think it was a little over 2 years ago. It is now under new ownership, and they are proposing 670 storage units with no restrooms, no water, no service, just single lights in the storage units. They're going to be controlled access storage units, so there'll be a gate allowing the people that are renting to come in. They are going to use their the main office that's there right now at 34515 as their leasing office, and they are having a third-party upscale company basically managing the facility. I have brought construction drawings. I've got a full set of the construction drawings from the civil side, and I did bring some drawings for the public to look at for the actual units themselves. So, if anybody wants to take a look at those, I'll have them do it. So in short, that's it. The stormwater retention basin that we ended up finally coming to a final design was actually in the fall of last year, and we are restoring 100% of the 100-year storm event on site for a storm event.
You 100-year storm event, 100% retainage?
Yeah, we have to. We have to because of the tailwater concerns in the ditch.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments from the commission? I guess I have one question. Obviously, the depth of the proposed improvements is more than 150 feet. So the fire department needs to turn their apparatus around. How is that going? Did someone do fire truck turning radiuses?
I believe we've run that before, but we have access or room around the buildings, but I can confirm that. Make sure that that's the case. I believe we ran that half though. Auto turn.
I guess my question to the city engineer is, Does the fire department review the drawings for turning radius after, once you get, beyond this stage?
Do their own review. I'm not sure if it's after this stage or before, but they do their own review and make certain recommendations to the applicants.
Thank you. Is there any other questions or comments from the commission?
Question I have, Chair. On the southern end, I'm not sure I see exactly how wide, well, the roadway, for lack of a better word, at the south end of the buildings. Can you tell me what, I'm not sure if I'm reading it properly.
On the south end of building number D. Is that what you're?
C and D, yes, C and D.
We have 20 feet on building E, and we have 20.14 on building D.
Have any other questions or comments from the commission? Is there any questions or comments from the administration?
Chair, we've answered the question. Fire service will do review. The building department does its review construction. Address their concerns at that point, relay it to the applicant, designer, and also the engineering department. And one general comment, if I understand correctly, these buildings are a lower profile than what was originally approved on the original storage units. They're much lower in height, so not so obvious to surrounding properties, and they're preparing to restore the buffer strip at the south end of the property as well, near the side of the detention basin with the mound and landscaping.
Okay, thank you. So administratively, the turning radius will be all worked out on its own.
It should be, yes.
Okay, cool, thank you. Is there any other questions or comments from the administration? Hearing none at this time, I'll open up questions and comments from the general public for this project. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, my name is Robert Becca. I live at 34688 Highland Drive. I am the property owner that is directly behind the proposed plan. We were here 2 years ago when the original plans were submitted. I'm very glad to hear that things are kind of scaled down somewhat. We were talking, obviously, we were concerned about what was going into these storage units. The thing that I still don't, I don't know what the final decision been made as far as buffer zone between our property lines. Is it going to be a mound? We discussed a fence. We discussed landscaping.
Yeah, I can answer your question. So
Yeah, if you don't mind going up to the microphone, so that way we can keep you on the record.
yeah, we do have a buffer mound with pine trees, white pine trees planted on there. And I do believe also on top of that, the architect plans on putting a fence on the other side of that as well, if I'm not mistaken. So we are planning on putting the buffer strip with pines on it, and on your side or on the Highland side or near the property line, a couple feet off, we're installing a 10-inch PVC perforated pipe to pick up water coming that naturally flows from those lots on Highland into our development and taking them into our retention basin, which is on the south side, basically the last 300 feet of we have basically a one acre pond there to pick up all the water, so.
And how tall is that mound that's being proposed?
It's basically about 3 feet with pines on it, so 3 feet with some pines on it. That's what we have.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions or comments?
The fence that you were talking about, is it, the discussion that we had last time was proposed a chain link fence? Is it going to be a chain link fence or a solid fence so that we don't have to see into the storage units?
If you don't mind answering that,
at the podium. I'm going to have to text the architect to ask that question because I do not know, but I will probably have an answer for you today, so.
I guess, would you be opposed to a board-on-board fence as opposed to chain link?
I don't want to specifically answer for the owner, but I know they had some fence in mind along the perimeters of the project, except on the ditch side of on the east side of the property where I think we have to maintain for the city access to the ditch over there. But I will find out what their plan was for a fence on that, so I'll answer that for you.
Thank you. Do you have any other further questions or comments from the general public?
My name is Laura Orient. I reside at 34704 Highland Drive, diagonal to the property, or just touching the property, actually. I understand that these plans sound drastically different than what was originally presented. The largest, may I ask, what's the largest unit in the building that would be bordering the southern side of that property?
I'll let you look at this. So I'm going to go back to 2 years ago when we had the planning commission meeting, and we were showing buildings going all the way down the south side of the property, kind of close to the property. And when we got into the design of the site, we needed more retention. So when we got into that, we really had to eliminate some building. So what we have here is basically almost a 300 foot plus buffer between, here's the buffer strip, and then here's the retention pond on the south side, and that's basically about 300 feet from the property line up here, and then another additional 25 or so feet. So approximately 375 from the property line to that building.
Now, is some of that's woods though, right, as well?
It's not woods now, but it was cleared and it's growing up again, but you know, I think it's basically, last time I looked at it a couple months ago, it was like, you know, brush.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead. Yes. There's all that. Go ahead. We have to accomplish that. Subsequently, sold to these people, they're aware of the buffer requirement. And the nice thing about the pines is they don't drop their leaves in the winter, so it gives you more of a year-round area.
So again, your plans called for more units than originally. So are these units generally smaller? What's the largest unit that you have?
Yeah, they are smaller. 5 by, looks like, I don't know as much about the architectural, but they're much, you know, smaller with, you know, basically some garage doors. This is the appearance of them. They're lower profile, they're not standing up. The last owner of the property was planning on putting like large, like RVs and type boats and things like that, storage, and these are very low profile. 9 foot 8 to the eve. So I mean, they're just basically like small garage doors. That's see.
Will any of these condos have a slop sink or a bathroom in them?
From what I was told, just gonna be a light switch, one light switch in the units. They can't even power equipment or anything. just storage.
And just one more question. Will any of the units have drainage in the floor? Thank you.
My name is Patty Friedel. I live at 34670 Highland Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio, directly south of this huge project. As Laura said, the previous project was 240 units. Now we're talking 670 units. The last time they had a drawing put up on the board so we could see it, of how these buildings are and where these, how are they gonna fit 670 units? The mound, last time we believed my husband, who's deceased, had made a comment about a mound, I believe it was on Hilliard in Westlake, I don't have it right in front of me, but a mound to me is a 20-foot mound, not a 3-foot mound with pine trees. He had also asked if you could picture our backyard, and we have a fence, and then this little 3-foot mound, which is very insufficient. And then the drainage, we had asked that the drainage be on the opposite side. Why should the drainage be on our side? And now you're talking a retention basin. We have 175 feet, huge retention basin right in my backyard with standing water. I've seen retention basins and water's always standing there. So you've got now mosquitoes, a smell from standing water. Do they plan on filtering that, irrigating it, anything like that? And then the lights were supposed to be directed down.
They are, I was told that they are directed down.
Okay, so what about the mound height? That has to go up. 3 feet is like nothing. We were talking higher than that.
Well, I don't recall the actual conversation, but with our grading plan, I mean, it could, please go up to the podium.
I'm sorry.
So the developer's gonna answer some of those questions in regards to the mounds, the basin, and then the drainage on the property side.
Yeah, we were planning on putting, basically 3 feet with the amount of space we have for grading. It could probably go up a little bit higher than that with not any issues. We're planning on putting 7-foot tall white pines on there right off the bat, so that they would be up, 10 feet. With that lower profile building, I don't think you would see as much, but I don't know that they would be opposed to putting a 4-foot or 5-foot tall mound in the back. That's not something I don't think would be, a deal breaker. But I don't want to commit their dollars to doing that, but I could definitely say that it would be something that I will pass along to them. And as far as the drainage that you're discussing, we are actually picking up drainage from the Highland lots. So we are actually, it's on our side of the property. It drains down, goes into a 10-inch perforated PVC pipe, and then outlets it into the retention basin and then takes it on out to the road, Mills Road. So that's the way the drainage is. It'll improve the drainage situation, not make it worse. The standing water that's in the retention basin is basically, if there's any that will be there, it's basically the mandated, and Dan can attest to this, we have to do what we call water quality here in the state of Ohio. And we have to have a 3-foot depth of water to allow the sediments to dissipate out. As long as it's, raining periodically, we shouldn't have issues with that. I don't know that we will see more mosquitoes or anything as a result of water. These are all over the place anymore. The Ohio EPA requires them.
A lot of mosquitoes now, let alone because of the creek at the east side of Highland Drive. And there's a mound there with pine trees, let alone, water at the end of my property line. So if we could get some type of raising of the mound and the standing water, light switch, do we get a copy of the drawings?
You do not.
We do not.
No, you're free to look at them in the public setting.
Last time I have copies. I don't remember where I got the copies from.
I mean, I guess if the general public wants to purchase a set, I don't know how that would work. I would assume they would have to pay for the copy.
Yes. Work with counsel's office, request a copy. And they would be charged. Sometimes the smaller copies, they don't charge a full size, like buildings work, and they charge.
So I'm sorry.
So to recap, yes, you're welcome to have a set, but you have to purchase a set. You have to pay for the copy of that set.
That's fine.
And those big sheets, those 24 by 36 are $2 a page.
I think the last time we had a copy of this and then at the next meeting or whatever before the final, we had a chance to review and see how wide the driveways are, where the driveways are located and how the lights are and something. I mean, you can't expect, residents that have been there for 40+ years to accept something, 670 units and go, okay. So the lights, and if we could get a higher mound and then find out about the fence. And is this 24 hours? Is this like a condo or are these just storage units?
No, they're not condos. They have a controlled access, so I imagine that somebody can go pick up their stuff in the night, but they will have to have access, and they have like I said, they have a third party company there that operates these all over the United States, and they are running the actual administration of the storage units.
So you don't know if it's 24 hours?
I believe it is 24 hours, but again, this is about 400 feet away from the property line where the nearest building is to the Highland properties.
Seems like you have some additional information for us.
Yeah, so the fence that I got an answer back, it is a wrought iron looking fence, not solid wood, not chain link. So it's basically like, I'm assuming a black, like a wrought iron looking fence. She didn't say on there, but. I'll let you know when she gets back to me on that.
Is there any other questions or comments from the general public? Could we, is there anybody else who hasn't spoken before I have repeats come up?
We have a comment on YouTube.
Oh.
They were supposed to be off, but they're not off. Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
The name is Christy Dunn. What were the results of the wetland delineation study by Flickinger Wetland Services in 2007? What conditions would have to be met in order to get a new wetland delineation study completed?
Thank you. Developer want to chime in on that?
I have no knowledge about what she's referring to. I have no knowledge of that. Are you sure it's the same site? Because I don't believe it is.
Does not say.
Sure, that may be a different site, but there was no delineation for this project.
Thank you. The drawings will be available after the meeting as well, if anybody wants to take a look at them. Right now, this is the public comment So if anybody else would like to make a public comment, please go up to the podium at this time.
Patty Friedel again. Okay, so right now, is this our only time? Or are we gonna come back?
All right, so what the procedure is, planning commission is a recommending body. We recommend approval or denial to the city council. And then city council will make a decision. So you technically, after this, could go to city council.
And at that time, we would be clear on how high the mound is, how high the fence is. Clarity.
Well, if the developer, I guess, I don't know if the developer would like to maybe get some of these people's emails and then maybe communicate with them before that meeting, is that a problem, or is that something that may be possible?
I mean, I'm the engineer, and I sure wouldn't mind taking that information and giving back to you. I do have an answer on the fence. It is 6 feet tall.
Yes, Mr. Bruce.
There's no city ordinance requiring a mound. That's optional by the developer.
Thank you.
There's no city ordinance requiring a fence. That's optional for the owner. All that's required of them is the buffer strip, which they will put up in their pine trees.
Right. And then the setback for this would be how many feet as opposed to the 400 they have?
Oh, I think it's, this zoning, it might be 25 feet buffer strip.
Right.
I'd have to check the ordinance, but something like that.
So theoretically, someone could come in here and develop this parcel within 25 feet of their.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's a 75-foot setback
Okay.
against the residential district buildings.
But the parking lot
The
could,
buffer strip, yes, but the buffer strips will not be 25 feet, 35 feet long.
so the parking lot could technically be within 25 feet.
These buildings, if I understand the developer, are going to be distance of a football field from the rear property.
That's what I'm hearing. And I guess that area that's not being developed is just going to be seeded then?
That area that you're referring to is the area for our retention basin back north of the buffer strip.
Is there a parcel to the east then? Which directly east of the, unless.
That's somebody else's parcel there. The shape is basically an L with another L on the backside of it.
Okay, so there's a piece that's landlocked then, maybe?
Once they impact it, because if somebody owns that, and their buildings may project onto that.
Okay,
Sorry, one more thing. So the existing trees that are back there now, they won't cut those down, whatever's there now. Will you leave it?
From my understanding of what happened or transpired even before 2 years back, I believe he cleared all the land that was his, and I mean the prior owner. And yeah, the parcel to the east, I think somebody else here was asking me about, that is not their property. So they cleared. Now the brush has grown back up. The last time I went out there, I think late July, early August, it had grown up, and some of that will have to get obviously mowed down to enable to do the buffer mound and those sort of things and get the drainage installed and all that. But I don't believe any more tree clearing is even capable, except like I said, the stuff that's grown up in 2.5 years.
Because there are trees right up against the fence, like 5 or 10 feet from the fence, large trees that the last person that cut the trees down left. So I just want to make sure that those trees, they're not gonna touch those. Well, thank you for anything you can help us with. And they put a mound at the end of our street, the east side of the buffer was a mound and also pine trees. So they did mound it for the noise, because there is noise. And these people are coming at 24 hours. The dog's gonna be barking constantly. It's gonna hear it. So, when you get higher, it's not asking that much.
Okay, is there any other final questions or comments from the general public? And I assume YouTube Live has no more additional comments?
No, Ms. Dunn said her comment was for the Bob Schmidt home application, and I instructed her to contact our office tomorrow to get those questions answered.
All right, this time I'm going to close the general public comment section. In closing, is there any other comments from the commission? At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Sure, I would move to approve.
Okay, Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Havens,
Yes.
Smollett.
Yes.
Motion is carried. 4-0.
Okay, we'll have a signed copy for you. And once I said, the general public, like I said, we're a recommending body. So what happens is it gets kicked to city council. Keep an eye on the City of North Ridgeville website on the council agenda, and then you'll see when this will come up.
I can leave the plans up here if anybody wants to come up and take a look at the drawings.
And I wouldn't mind if we do that after, so I don't have any distractions for the next applicant. Oh, yeah. I got it. I knew there was a second. Okay, Madam Secretary, please call the last application.
Applicant Robert Yost, Civius Limited, 6381 Avon Belton Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner, same. Request referral from council for recommendation to rezone a parcel of land from an R1 residential district to a highway commercial district. Location 8540 Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039, in an R1 district. Permanent parcel number 0700014103327, temporary number 104-2021. And there are no.
Is there a member in the audience who would like to discuss this application?
My name is Lou Macy. I live at 6381 Avon Belton Road in North Ridgeville. I am co-owner of this property with Mr. Yost. And it sounds like we're doing the land, but we're just rezoning the building itself. There'll be no additional buildings. We just want to rent the gym out. Gym, rent some of the classrooms out, and some of the
Any questions?
Mr. Chair. What sort of events or uses would you anticipate as a result of the rental?
That's for the gym or the building.
Any of it?
Any of it? Right now, we like gymnasium would be for youth sports, basketball, baseball. We do anticipate some birthday parties in there. Just different reception type of things.
What about the classrooms?
The classrooms, there will be a couple artists in there doing artwork. We have a lady who does solo classes in there. Another one that does furniture. They buy furniture on the internet, they put it together and sell it. And my floor sanding company has 2 rooms in there. We store some wood flooring in there, and a little shop set up to make.
So would it be used as like rental retail space or teaching space, mix of those?
All the above. Okay. The rooms are like 670 square feet, so
Right,
not a lot.
yeah. I have a son in elementary school there, so.
I did actually went to school.
Now, it sounds like a need for use of the property, actually, so.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just a photo. We're not doing nothing on the land, parcel, or grass and that. The baseball diamond is still standing when the school had it. We do have somebody who comes down in the summertime, kills the grass in there and they practice baseball in there. Yeah, this is all used like 100 acres.
Right. Thank you.
Is there any other questions or comments from the commission? When I look at it, when a rezoning comes up, I always look at spot zoning, but this makes sense because a lot of that intersection already is zone B3, so just incorporating another parcel into that. So yeah, it totally makes sense.
And my understanding is anytime there's a school building there, it's residential. So anything you want to do after the school is out, you have to either go commercial or the house.
Is there like maybe a possibility of a charter school going in there or?
Not in our curriculum. It all goes on your grading system for schools. So Ridgeville has a good grading system, the school system, so these no outside school come in. Local area has a coalition school comes in, their grading system. For their school is lower, maybe it's C. So outside schools are allowed to come in and clear. In North Ridgeville, we have a better grading system, so the outside schools can have daycare possibly, could go in there or something like that. A Christian school, a Catholic school, or something other than a public school.
Is there any questions or comments from the administration? This time I'll open up some questions and comments for the general public.
My name is Kim Hall. I'm at 8417 Amherst Trail in North Ridgeville, right behind this property. I guess a couple of questions I have. So you're not talking about changing the building at all. You're gonna keep it as it is and just have businesses, small.
Interior.
Okay. I guess my other question is, you're already using the building for these purposes. Is this just to be in compliance with the zoning for that area?
Yes. And to rent more rooms out. Right now, we have about half, maybe 10 rooms around. So we like to rent more, just because our gas and water was $2,000 a month. So whatever income we get in, it's paying utilities, taxes. But yeah, there'll be nothing outside. It's pretty much what you have seen there. Is what you're going to see.
Yes, the only other question that I had was timing of this. Is there 24/7? Is there some kind of time limits when people to be in the building?
We don't have any restrictions on anybody who's there. Our worst case, we have a fellow who does lighted dance floors, and he brings his equipment back, and sometimes he's there at 9 or 10 at night. The gym is usually, the latest we've ever run at the gym is 10 o'clock, is what anybody's been there for the gym. I would say usually 10 o'clock. A little bit of traffic that is there is gone.
Is there any other questions or comments from the general public? Is there any questions or comments from YouTube Live?
No.
This time I'm going to close the public section. Is there any further questions from the commission? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would move recommendation of the change in zoning to council.
Second. Secretary Caldwell.
Brotman,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Smollett,
Yes.
paperwork on it for you. Okay, there's nothing else on the agenda, so at this time, planning commission meeting is adjourned for Tuesday, September 14th.